Hi everyone, my name's Tom. I'm a second-year grad student in mechanical engineering, and today I'm excited to present our work on developing an emergency ventilator to address potential shortages amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Here we design a low-cost device for modifying widely available continuous positive airway pressure machines, which are typically used to treat sleep apnea. Our design uses a fluidic oscillator that takes the steady stream of these machines as an input and outputs a cyclic pressure. We simulated the fluid dynamics of the system to determine the pressures and flow rates delivered to the patient. And after manufacturing the device, we were able to show function across a range of COVID-19 lung compliances. Our design can be manufactured at low cost, and we believe it'll be most helpful in developing countries where resources are less abundant. So I look forward to meeting you all, and thank you.
My name is Swathi Manda. I'm excited to share our findings on applying advances in machine learning to the DNA world for efficient and accurate prediction of secondary structures. Why secondary structures? Well, high-throughput screening technologies, such as DNA-templated libraries, rely on a set of highly orthogonal DNA tags that can be amplified and read without crosstalk. To design such libraries, we need to understand the function, reactivity, and other properties of the DNA molecule which can be understood from their secondary structures. So an ability to predict the secondary structure from their sequences allows us to design DNA strands with desired properties. However, the bottleneck in designing DNA strands of desired properties is that the current state-of-the-art dynamic programming algorithms that compute secondary structures, such as NuPack, mFold, vFold, DNA Analyzer, and many others, lack scalability. As the sequence length increases, the time taken to compute the secondary structure increases exponentially to the order of n cubed. It is not uncommon to have sequences of a few thousand nucleotides in the DNA electronic barcode. In such cases, these algorithms would prove impractical, as the computation would take days and would demand large computing power. This problem can be addressed by machine learning. To learn more about the machine learning algorithm, the implications, and to discuss more about this research, please don't forget to visit post. Thank you.
What if you could increase the access to machine design and fabrication to the point where a high school student can design and fabricate their own 3D printer, or a small biolab in Colombia could fabricate their own instrument machine to measure biomaterial samples? See, the problem is, currently manufactured precision and heavy machinery is restricted to research and high-end fab labs that have access to expensive capital equipment, such as water jets or CNC routers. This is because machinery to work with metal is expensive. But if we can make machines out of laser-cuttable plastics like Dillon or acrylic, you can decrease the cost of the capital equipment required by more than an order of magnitude. Now, they may not perform at the extremes as well as their metal counterparts, but with the right design techniques, these machines could perform well enough to do a wide range of tasks. The CAT is one such experiment. It is a series of designs and prototypes to find weaknesses and accommodations required to use Dillon as a primary material in a gantry machine. The CAT is designed to serve as an easily replicated, well-known machine that can be put to use on a range of common fab processes, such as PCB or light milling, 3D printing, pen plotting, and knife cutting. There are some promising results so far. My name is Ruben Castro, and come check out my poster to see what I've been up to.
Hi, my name is Diaz Quevedo. I'm a visiting student in Professor Ellen Roach lab at MIT. Around 20% of heart attack survivors die of heart failure. Coupling patches on the outer surface of the heart's infarcted region to mechanically reinforce it has proven to improve heart function and could be a promising solution to this issue. However, a deeper understanding of how cardiac function is impacted by the degree of reinforcement of the coupled patch is required to continue optimizing this potential treatment. To this end, we developed a finite element model of a left ventricle to evaluate how varying the stiffness of a tunable patch developed by our group impacts ventricular wall stress and cardiac function. Our results show that the stress reduction in the damaged zone throughout the cardiac cycle depends on the degree of stiffness of the patch. This work will serve as a versatile in silico tool to study and optimize reinforcement strategies for the prevention of heart failure. Thank you.
Despite huge improvements in modern robot technology, controlling flexible objects in a human-level performance is still a formidable task. One of the many reasons which makes this task difficult, is due to the high-dimensional structure of flexible objects. To overcome this high-dimensionality problem, we encoded the controller using structures called dynamic motor primitives. Using dynamic motor primitives dramatically simplified the control task, and the optimization was able to identify the optimal movement which reached a target with a whip. Examples of the optimal movements, which achieved the whip targeting task for multiple target locations, are shown as follows. For further details, please visit our poster booth. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samuel Gollob, and I'm a student in the TTDD lab advised by Professor Ellen Roche. Vacuum-powered soft actuators, such as the ones depicted here, are an important subclass of soft actuators because of their high output force and stroke, as well as their high power density. Because of this, it's relevant to model their nonlinear force profile. However, previous work has done this individually for each actuator type, which is inefficient when studying multiple or novel designs. So our framework addresses this challenge by estimating an actuator's force profile purely from its volume loss rate. So by changing two simple geometrical components, users can apply the algorithm to rapidly derive the force profile of a large variety of vacuum actuators. And to demonstrate the framework, we apply it to two distinct vacuum actuator designs, which we built and tested and found that the models closely agree with experimental results. Finally, with its ability to perform large parameter sweeps and to combine with other models for higher accuracy, we present the framework as a rapid modeling tool for iterative vacuum actuator design.
Hi, my name is Andrew Seelhoff.
And my name is Aashini Shah.
And we are working on the Mobile Clinic project for the Biomechatronics Lab.
The purpose of this project is to create a community-driven resource for diabetic patients and amputee patients who are at high risk for further complications. 85% of 900,000 amputations in Mexico last year would have been preventable if those patients had had access to care. And this statistic is closely mirrored globally.
Through an intensive accessibility-focused process, we have designed a model of a mobile clinic for dispersed populations that provides peripheral neuropathy examinations, as well as scanning for a customized prosthetic socket, where the patient can get their finished socket in as few as 2 visits, considerably less than existing pathways for new sockets. All of this is done in a fully accessible environment where patients can move unassisted through the entire clinic.
Every community is unique, and we envision every clinic as an accessible collaboration with local partners to maximize patient comfort, care, and trust. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cool.
Hi, my name is Carlos Diaz, and I'm a graduate student advised by Professor Evelyn Wayne. In our lab, we have been interested in several applications that can play a role in achieving cleaner energy, from improving condensers and boilers in power plants to the production of clean hydrogen fuel. In many of these applications, by enhancing mass, fluid, and energy transport, you can improve the efficiency of your system, and one way to achieve this is by using porous materials. To make these porous materials, we have been looking specifically at opal crystals, that are structures that assemble themselves into regular arrays, which can be later used as a template for a highly ordered porous material. In this work, we looked into a self-assembly method that was particularly simple and scalable, and our goal was to understand how to fabricate a template with good quality at different length scales. We developed a model to understand better the self-assembly process, which allowed us to be able to expand this method to cover a wide range of feature sizes that can be used to fabricate efficient porous materials.
Hello, my name is Stacy Godfreey-Igwe, and I'm a current junior in Mechie at MIT. Now look to your left, and then look to your right. More likely than not, You just glance over at an object made out of plastic. It's everywhere. Plastic pollution on top of increases in greenhouse gases from other human activities are taking our world on a dangerous path environmentally. My research this past summer hoped to largely address these environmental concerns. I was able to work on a research project in Stanford's Civil and Environmental Engineering department that aimed to optimize the growth of methanotrophs, a type of bacteria that can take in methane and through various chemical processes synthesize it to PHB. PHB, or polyhydroxybutyrate, is a polymer used in the creation of bioplastics. I was tasked with taking the formulae from reviewed literature and creating MATLAB simulations of methantropic growth for ongoing efforts once labs are in person. Thank you for listening to my talk.
Hi there, my name is Saviz and I'm a grad student in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. This poster highlights some of my research on the computational simulation of granular materials, which consist of many small particles such as sand or gravel. To simulate the behavior of such materials, computer models require a contact law that predicts the force generated between contacting particles. Here, we derive a contact law for elastically anisotropic particles, which enables the simulation of granular materials consisting of crystalline particles. We then implement this contact law into a simulation code, and we showcase two examples involving assemblies of single crystal zirconia particles. For instance, we design an acoustic filter that is tunable by mere rotation of its constituent particles. This proof of concept displays how anisotropy at the particle level can alter macroscopic behavior and be exploited in applications. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nisha Chandramoorthy and I'm about to tell you about my PhD work done jointly with my advisor Professor Chi Wong. Similar to but distinct from a famous 1963 question posed by Ed Lorenz, can a butterfly in Brazil control the climate of Texas? In other words, how does a small perturbation to a system parameter in a chaotic system affect its long-term behavior or statistics? Our goal is to find out through computation. Consider a chaotic map of the unit interval graphed here in red. The probability distribution, shown in purple, varies when we change the parameter s. In our poster, we show through visualization on simple examples the derivation of our new method called space split sensitivity to compute the derivative of the probability distribution with respect to the parameter. Please visit for more details.
The control of kinematically redundant robots is often approached using null space projection methods. These require precise models and can be computationally challenging. Biology presents numerous examples of systems with many more degrees of freedom than are required to accomplish its tasks. But given the neuromuscular limitations, it seems unlikely that biology relies on precise models or complex computation. An alternative biologically inspired approach, which is less frequently considered, leverages the compositionality of mechanical impedance. In theory, null space projections can eliminate any conflict between primary and secondary tasks. In contrast, superposition of task space impedance and a full-rank joint space impedance may impose a task conflict. Using a state-of-the-art robot, the work reported here compared impedance superposition and null space projection methods during unconstrained motion and forceful physical interaction. Remarkably, during forceful interaction, when the dimensionality of the null space was increased, the impedance superposition methods outperform the null space projection methods.
Hello, my name is Jan Totz. I'm a postdoc on the Laboratory for Biologically Inspired Photonic Engineering, led by Professor Matthias Kolle. My poster is on the control of Janus droplets. So you may ask, what are Janus droplets? Well, they are an emulsion of two immiscible liquids that can be used to realize liquid lenses. And so if you want to know how to reorient a liquid lens using just a laser spot and how to describe that theoretically, then come to my poster. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ben Koenig, and I will be presenting my group's research on optimal harvesting methods for algae farming. Algae is hugely important for a variety of reasons. It's used as food, fodder, medicine, and biofuel. It also has a very low nutrient cost and can help to control pollution. Here, we use an exact augmented Hamilton-Jacobi PDE and level set method calculate optimal algae harvesting paths for autonomous tow vessels. We expand in time a reachability front that describes the entire domain, both in space and in algae collection, that we are able to reach at a given time. Once that front passes our goal point, we backtrack to the origin to calculate our optimal path. We combine this path planning method with a generalized and comprehensive algae growth model to predict algae growth in motion and then optimally plan for its harvest. We successfully perform this simulation in a wide variety of real-life, idealized, stationary, and advecting algae flows, providing provably time-optimal routes for harvesting in all cases. Our results are promising for a wide range of future optimal ocean monitoring and harvesting projects, including stationary algae farms, kelp forests, and harmful algae blooms. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anupama Phatak, and I'm a Course 2 senior. This past year, I have been researching into low-cost microfluidic flow control with 3D printed Lego bricks. So to start, the first thing I did was I designed inlet and outlet bricks, which basically bookend a microfluidic system. And the idea is that you can connect the system to a syringe via this lure lock. And I 3D printed these bricks via SLA 3D printing. Then I put together a microfluidic system basically just to make sure that there was no leakages between the connections. Next, I moved on to flow characterization. So what I did was I set up a syringe pump and measured the input flow and the resulting output flow. And what I found was that at flow rates generally used by microfluidic systems, the relationship is linear. So then I moved on to weight-driven flow, which is a cheaper and more accessible alternative to syringe pump controlled flow. And as you can see in this graph, the output flow that I measured was nonlinear and non-constant. However, this was expected. So to mitigate this flow inconsistency, I designed a resistor brick. And the idea behind a resistor brick is that it creates a fluid resistance in that brick so high such that the flow beyond the resistor brick is stabilized. And I'm currently in the process of testing and iterating on this. Thanks for listening.